Welcome to the Billy Shultz Music Podcast.
My dad got it for me for Christmas, I think like last year, the year before last year. It's pretty comfortable too. It's made of this like weird material, but it's like not super hot, but it's comfortable.
You beat that.
You just got done doing a lesson?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, she's in Virginia Beach and moving to Italy in 2 months, but, give them guitar lessons.
Hey, I mean, it works, it works. I think what I wanted to do today is just kind of do even more, just like maybe like a 30 or 45 minute, just like a little interview, and just kind of let you talk about what, where you started with guitar, like why you got into it, your influences, and then talk about going to Berklee and like what you got into that. And then, because I wanted to like, before we kind of jumped into anything more, almost do just the like interview style with you,
Okay.
and get a little bit more of a background, just where your influences come from and where you started with everything.
Cool.
How old were you when you started? Were you younger?
13 or 14?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Cool.
Were you like, did you play consistently then, or was it just like you'd pick it up and try it out and then put it down for a couple months and then pick it up again? Because that's kind of how I was.
I was pretty consistent with it until I was probably, 15 or 16. And then that's when I would put it down for a while and come back to it and, get distracted by other things and running around with your buddies on the weekends. And
Right, exactly. Were you in any bands back then or no?
man, I didn't play live for the first time until I was 32.
Oh, snap.
That was the first band I was in too with that. Other than that, I was just a bedroom musician playing along to CDs, and I would get together with buddies and jam every once in a while.
Right. Were you, did you take any kind of lessons when you were younger, or are you just self-taught?
My uncle taught me some. He's the one who got me into music. When I was 6 months old, he was like 15 or 16, big Kiss and Zeppelin nut. He grabbed me and took me off into his bedroom over at my grandparents' house and would throw headphones on me, playing old Kiss albums or, they were the new Kiss albums then.
Hell yeah. So just from then until what you said before you played your first show, you're just jamming in your bedroom, jamming with the other guys, that kind of thing?
Yeah. And I got with my uncle every once in a while, and he had a 4-track, and we'd record some original stuff he would make up, and he would show me what to play, and that kind of. I had more experience recording than I did anything.
Gotcha. And that was probably back on like a Tascam or some kind of like 8-track little.
Yep.
I had one of those too when I first started recording.
Oh man,
it was the word. It was so frustrating to try and learn how to do that on your own.
Yeah. I had one too, and once I got it, I was like, man, I've always wanted one of these. And it's like, how do I use the damn thing?
Yeah, what do I do here? No, that's absolutely how I felt too. It was the most frustrating thing. And then once you did learn how to at least record something and hear it back, you'd be like, wow, this sounds awful. And it was the most frustrating thing.
Yeah.
What was the first band that you played in?
It's a Kiss tribute called Love Gun.
Oh yeah. Was that after Berklee or before Berklee?
Before.
Okay. And how did the whole Berklee thing come around?
Oh, well, I was in Love Gun for about a year and a half, and left the band and then started messing around. I was just sitting around in my room one night, going through lessons on YouTube, and found a Paul Gilbert lesson. And I was like, hey, I remember that guy. And, I pulled the lesson up and started playing it, and I loved how he taught. And I started digging into just learning more about guitar playing in general, and just, a little bit of theory stuff on the edges. And I'd always wanted to know, I didn't really like just put your fingers here and do this. I want to know why I was doing it. Why am I playing this chord, and why is this chord coming next? So I started digging into more of that, and then taking lessons. I went to a guitar camp up in Virginia for a week. And, that really kind of opened things up because I learned the cage system. That's where I started learning the notes on the neck. And I was like, I want to dig deeper. And then I found out the Berklee program had just started maybe a year before that, doing just Berklee Online. And I enrolled in that. And it wasn't like the bachelor degree that you can get, but it was anybody can get it. If you could pay for it and you put the time into it and take the classes.
It's like a certificate or something, right?
Yeah, it took about 14 months to get through all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember, what year was that?
It was 2011 through 2012, I think.
That's funny because right around that time is when I had heard about the online Berklee from a professor when I was getting my degree in audio engineering. My professor was telling us that Berklee was starting to do those programs and that there was a kid in the program as well. Sounded like something exploded.
Oh, no.
I was like, what's that noise? There was apparently a kid in the program who was doing the guitar as well, the guitar program there. So it's just funny that it was around that same time period that's when you found out about it as well. Mm-hmm. And before that, were you were just looking up YouTube videos essentially, or like where did like the majority of your playing and like what you were learning come from?
Tab, and then YouTube videos later on.
Yeah, YouTube is like where everything is. And
Ultimate Guitar, I pulled a lot from there.
Yes. Yeah, that's probably the first place that I started learning and like looking. That's probably where I learned how to read tablature, honestly. Yeah. I think it's from Ultimate Guitar. But so it took 14 months to get through Berklee, and like what all did it cover, like front to back? Like what was the criteria for it?
Well, I had a chords class where I learned, building triads, learning seventh chords and some drop 2 and drop 3 chords, that are probably used more common in like jazz. It was just like touched on the edge of that kind of stuff. All kinds of inversions. And then a scales class that, taught the pentatonics, the major scales, and touched on the modes a little bit. There was a course on rock guitar soloing, which taught you a lot about improv. And then, got into more, scales with improv and different backing tracks. There was a classic rock guitar class where you learned solos from Allman Brothers, Clapton, Jimmy Page, Hendrix, Jeff Beck, Eric Johnson, a little bit of Steve Vai stuff towards the end of it. And you kind of they had a handful of things you could work on each week, and you'd pick 1 or 2 to work on. And it opened my eyes to so much stuff.
I believe it. Yeah. I mean, that's what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's just going to open up a whole new world for you.
Yeah. That 14 months was probably 10 years of information in 14 months. And 2 and 3 years later, that stuff was still coming out in my playing, and I was realizing stuff I learned then was kind of, still developing on the fretboard while I was playing. It just doesn't stop. Oh, I learned this. It just keeps growing.
Right. And now it makes sense.
Yeah.
That's so funny. And so I'm assuming they would give you, was it like an everyday kind of thing that you would have to log on and take one of the classes, or was it like a once a week kind of thing and you just had homework basically, or?
Yeah, it was forum based. So you had a chat forum with the other students, and you had backing tracks to practice over, and they recommended working on it at least once every day for no less than, 30 minutes to an hour. Mm-hmm. And then towards the end of the week, you had whatever you're working on, you had a backing track to record something over that backing track and turn it in for your assignment.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And now, do you think like someone who is an absolute beginner could have jumped into a class like that, or you would need some sort of basic understanding beforehand?
You would need some basics. They called them beginner classes, but when you got into them, you realized that, you did need to have a little bit of experience playing guitar.
Right. Yeah. If you're still learning how to change 2 chords, then you're probably going to fall behind pretty quickly. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. It's so funny too, because I remember looking at the classes and it was just so expensive at the time because I was, when 2012, I was like, God, what, 21, 22, something like that. And I can't remember exactly. I think the certificate itself was a few $1,000s at least, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was looking at individual classes to take, and I was like, I don't even know where to start, because you could do individual classes at a time, I guess, if you just wanted to pay one at a time until you got finished all the classes in it. But even then, I was like, I don't even know where to start, because it all just seemed A, really fun, but B, like overwhelming,
Yeah.
So after that, I mean, did they give you stuff to continually practice even after you get done, or like, because I mean, I know that you've learned so much that you can just start applying it, but did they give you anything specifically that was like, over your next however many weeks or months, continue to like put this into, work on this, and then after that start focusing more on this? Was there anything like that, or was it just like you're done and now kind of have at it?
It was just a go forth and prosper kind of thing.
Gotcha. And is it acoustic and electric? Like you can do it for either one, or is it the one that you took? Was it mainly like electric?
Yeah, it was mainly electric. They have some classes that are geared towards acoustic on there. Okay.
Because they have like songwriter class, like they have different.
Yeah, they've got all kinds of stuff.
Right. Because I was going to say, I feel like they have different, what do you call it? Like focuses. Like you could be like a songwriting focus, rock, like a rock guitar focus or stuff like. They have like a bunch of certificates like that, right?
Yep.
Gotcha. That's awesome.
A lot of fun.
And so you got done with Berklee, like when was that you got done with that?
I finished up it was probably late spring or early spring 2012, I believe.
Okay. So you did it right as soon as you pretty much heard about it, right after learning, you're checking out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I got a small student loan, and you just paid interest only on it while you were you actually doing the schooling. And then you paid principal and interest when the schooling's over with.
Honestly, I might look back into that now. Like now that it's, because I wonder what their prices are like now. And I didn't even think about trying to get a student loan to cover the price of it, but I might start looking into that now, because I always wanted to do it. It's just the money, the price of it. I couldn't afford it.
I want to go back and do the bachelor's, but yeah, it's a cash thing and it's a time thing too, because that would be more time intensive.
Do you have to get accepted to technically do the bachelor's?
Yeah.
So you'd have to like apply and everything like that.
Yep. Turn in an audition tape. I think it's like a 5 or 6 minute audition tape
of just like whatever you want to kind of show off your skill set, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool though. And can you do that online as well, or would that be something you'd have to?
No, it's online.
Okay.
That's why it's so appealing. It's just like, I wouldn't have to move,
Right. You can just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I might have to look back into that, because I always wanted to, but the money thing was just tough during that, at that point,
Oh yeah.
And so after that, what did you just kind of stay in and out of bands after that? Because I know when we met, it was 2015, the end of 2014, something like that.
2014. After I got done with the Berklee thing, I was also in school for Taekwondo, and
Taekwondo?
Yeah.
My guy.
You didn't know that?
No, I had no idea.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't know you could actually kick ass. My guy kicking ass on the stage and kicking ass in real life.
Yeah, but I did the Berklee thing and finished that up in March or April of 2012. And then in August of 2012, Liam and I both earned our black belts. And then when I got done with that, I started focusing even more on music.
Okay. I had no idea that you were a black belt.
Oh.
I wish I could have seen some of those moves come out when we were on the road.
Oh, well, there were a couple of times.
Yeah, it got close.
Yeah.
What other bands were you in back home?
After I got all that wrapped up, I got with some buddies and we started up a band called Hard Rock Reunion. They're still going now. I left them. We put it together for about a year, then disbanded, and then put it together again. What was it? This is 2020, so it was 2018. We put it back together, and I stayed in through October of last year, and split so I could focus on more original stuff.
Okay. Oh wait, so you were still with them?
Well, I was, and then the band kind of split up for a while, and then we got back together. So I was with HR, and it just wasn't kind of jiving after we played a handful of shows. So we didn't do anything for a good bit, and then in June, it was the end of June of 2018. Our singer was in a motorcycle accident and died.
Damn.
So, yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, that sucks.
Then a band with him, went in HR with him, and then we got to be really good friends after that. Stayed in touch all the time. He was a mechanic. He did my car work. He actually did the work on the van that we had with the band.
Really?
Those times, yeah. He came up with me to pick the van up from your house when you were in Greensboro.
Huh. There's so many things I don't remember. Especially with that van. I mean, we had so many problems with it anyway. Like I remember when it broke down in Colorado, and we were like, okay, how are we gonna get home? We got no money. The van's toast. But so that was him that was worked on the van and everything.
He wasn't showing his tail. He'd actually just bought the bike 30 minutes earlier, and a guy pulled out in front of him in Winston, and he was in the truck, and he just went right up under him, and the guy ran over him.
He had just bought it.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Yeah, because I heard about it that night on Facebook. I saw a post about it, and I was like, he doesn't even have a motorcycle,
That's
and then ended up finding out the next day that he had just bought it.
Damn. Well, that sucks, dude. I mean, 30 minutes after you buy it, it's like, what? I mean, I don't know. That's crazy. Because I think about getting a motorcycle too, but for that reason, especially living out here, I'm like, oh man, it doesn't even have to be you. It can be someone else,
Oh yeah, it is. And so when that happened, we all were talking, and we're like, let's put a benefit show together for his wife. And we invited Brian Meyer in to sing for us for that, and then ended up just, bringing him in full time and putting the band back together for a while. I mean, like I said, they're still going. I left because I wanted to focus on original material.
Uh-huh. And when did you leave those guys?
October last year.
Of last year?
Mm-hmm.
So you were still gigging and playing out with them and stuff?
When?
Like before you left, like you guys were playing and like were playing out, doing shows and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, all through 2018 and through 2019.
Okay. And are you with anybody now, or you're still just kind of looking?
No, I'm playing with an original act now called Whistler.
Whistler. Oh, mm-hmm. Did you might have told me that when we talked last week.
Yeah, it might have come up.
What kind of music?
Is just straight up rock and roll.
Hell yeah.
It's not super heavy metal stuff like you would kind of pin me into playing if I were going to do something original, but a friend of mine turned me on to the singer, and he was looking for a guitar player, drummer, and bass to kind of get things going again. And it just, when I heard the music, I was like, I'd be stupid to turn this down.
Yeah.
I mean, we got some high hopes for it.
Yeah, because straight rock and roll, I mean, that's right up your alley for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the singer, he's a great singer. He writes really good lyrics. The songs have good hooks. I mean, it's just, there's no weakness to it.
Right. So there's material out yet, or no, you guys are still working on recording?
We released a single and a video about a month ago, and we just got the rest of the EP mastered, and we're going to be releasing that probably sometime in June.
Hell yeah. Yeah, let me know when that drops, because I'd love to take a listen to it for sure.
Okay. I'll shoot you the link for the video we did for the first song. We filmed it in quarantine, so none of us were in the same place when we filmed our parts.
Really?
And then our other guitar player put everything together, and man, it's great video.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's great content for right now for sure. Just with everything going on, it's like, you can't let it stop you. So you might as well embrace it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. I would love to see that, because it is just so interesting to see how people are adapting to what what they're doing right now. I don't know if you've seen I don't know if you watch American Idol at all, but I don't watch it super often, but they were still doing live shows, and I was really curious how they were doing it. And so I watched the last 2 episodes that they were doing live, and they've just set up live streams from all these, like they sent all the contestants back home to where they're from, sent them all the equipment to set up just like a high quality live stream from there. Like some of them are doing it in their garage, some are in their backyard, some are in their living room, and like they've just all got it kind of decked out to look cool. They got cool little lights, and like they've got a few different just high quality cameras at different angles, and they're doing from what I can grasp, because I was like, are they airing it and it is live? Because they're also having the band play with them live as they're performing.
That's a serious connection they got rolling.
Dude, and that's what I was wondering. I was like, how are they doing this with like 100% not, because there can't be any lag, there can't be any latency, there can't even be, it has to be without a doubt we're going to have a secure connection with 0 latency, or else they wouldn't be able to guarantee that something wasn't going to go wrong. But what it seems like they're doing is that it seems like they are doing live. It's live in the sense that they are performing it live, but they're previously recording the episode itself, if that makes sense. So, because like Ryan Seacrest is by himself in his home, and all the judges are by themselves, and the performers are performing, and then they are giving their feedback and all this stuff. But it seems like it's not. They're not doing it in real time as you're watching it. They're just doing it live for themselves and recording it, the whole thing at one time, and then airing it. Because they're editing like the video angles from each one. Like they're doing cool fucking video edits. Like it looks really cool. It's still very professional looking. And I was very interested to hear that they were still doing the live performances like that. Cause it's like, how are they doing that? You got to be creative,
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you what is your practice routine? Are you every single day for a specific amount of day? Are you a certain amount of time a week? Like, what do you do for your practicing?
Well, I mean, I play pretty much every day of the week, and I'm not really rigid on setting a time limit on it. It just kind of, being an adult, having a job, and married, and all that kind of stuff, and you've always got something going on, so you just squeeze as much of it in when you can.
Right.
But I'd say at least no less than an hour a day I play, whether it's working on a song or working on technique or something.
And are you just kind of sitting down and winging it? Like, this is just kind of what I feel like doing today? Or is there are there certain things that you're like, I know I should work on this, so let me definitely, while I'm here playing, let me work on this a little bit and work on this a little bit? Like, is there a routine to it at all? Or are you just kind of like, I just feel like doing this?
I've gotten more into focusing on specific things. String skipping arpeggios was something I was, even when we were in Dream Killer, I was using those a little bit, but I was just using them in the box, more or less. I got to where I was really proficient with playing them in the box, but I wanted to get to where I could use them moving up and down the neck. So I started focusing on that really hard for several weeks and got that down pretty solid now. And then I still take lessons myself. I got a lesson from Stuart Bull that gives lessons on Lick Library. He's on my Facebook page, and he posted a couple of weeks ago. He's like, "Hey, who wants a free guitar lesson this week?" And I was like, "I'll take one."
Absolutely.
He's in England. He gave me a lesson. He's like, "What do you want to learn?" I was like, "Well, I want to learn some legato runs. I'm always looking for different stuff where I can move up and down the neck all at one time, kind of. Just kind of put that flurry of notes together to either, transition from one part of a solo to climbing up the neck, or to wrap up a solo at the end of it, whatever it calls for." And he showed me some legato stuff, and then I looked up some more legato stuff online, and I've been working on that a lot here lately.
Hell yeah. And what's this guy's name again?
Stuart Bull.
Yeah.
Stuart, and then Bull, Bull.
Gotcha. And he's in England?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to look him up too, because is that something that he's continuously doing? He's just kind of like randomly just who wants a guitar lesson today?
I'm not sure, but it's the first time I'd ever seen anybody post anything like that. That wasn't just another local musician here in Winston, because I figure he's got a pretty full schedule. So, but he posted it and I jumped on it and sent him a message and he's like, okay, let's, figure out the time difference. Do you have time, this Tuesday night? And I think it was a 6-hour time difference maybe.
Mm-hmm. So he is he in a band? Does he do solo stuff? He's just a guitarist. What does he do?
I think he said he was in some kind of fusion band.
Okay.
But he didn't get into the, who it was or whatnot. But I mean, he was super helpful to be given a free lesson. I expected it to last 30 minutes and be like, all right, see you. Yeah. I ended up being on the video chat with him for like 45, 50 minutes. And he's like, oh yeah, hey, I got something else I want to show you. And I was like, okay.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. Super nice dude.
He loves it. Apparently, that's when you can tell that somebody actually really genuinely likes doing it and they want to help other people. Is there anything that how many guitars do you have?
9 or 10.
God, wow.
That's actually, I know a lot of guys have a whole lot more than I do.
No, I know. And that's where I lack, is because I still have, the Alvy and the Telly. Like those are the only two that I've got, but again, it just boils down to the money thing. I've never, and not feeling like I'm at a place where I can justify having more than one. Like I need to play these more than I do to justify, having. It's a weird thought process that I have about it. I don't know why I feel that way, but I'm like, until I'm just playing the shit out of this one and I want another one or I want maybe even a better one, then that's when and I think I'm starting to get to that point now, but that's a place I've always lacked is having more than one and really learning the difference between different types, different brands, how they play, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm not really a gear hound. I mean, I've acquired a lot of stuff over the years, but actually getting a straight up brand new guitar that I didn't trade something else out for, I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm assuming you get to the point where you're like, where do I put all these?
Yeah, I've got some hangers on the way from a friend of mine that shut down a music store at the coast, and I bought like 8 guitar wall hangers from him so I can, because I've got them in cases. I've got them back behind that curtain, laid on top of the bed.
Yeah, just stacked up.
They're just all over the place right now.
That's awesome. Do you still have because I remember you got the lime green. The lime green.
Yeah, I still have that.
You still got that one? What brand was that again?
This is an Ibanez S series.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that plays so good.
I mean, you played the shit out of it.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. What other guitars do you have?
I've got a white Ibanez RG Prestige. That's the most expensive guitar I own. But
you had that one as well when we were playing? Right?
Yeah. I took it out on the road with us, and I still got Tweety, the one that was like canary yellow with the F-hole sticker on it. Mm-hmm. I kind of used that more or less as a backup when we were on the road. But I've got the Ibanez Fireman and Ibanez Iceman. I've got a lot of Ibanez guitars.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got a Welch Telly, which was a local company out of Asheboro here in North Carolina for several years.
I feel like I've heard that name before.
Yeah, he only did it for a handful of years, and then he got out of it, and he's not even making guitars anymore. He's flipping houses now.
Got to go where the money is, I guess.
I guess so. But I'd always wanted one, and my buddy at Heyday, Michael, he had one in over there, and I had a Hamer Explorer shape that I wasn't playing, so I took it over there and traded it. Hell
yeah. Are they all electric, or do you have acoustic at all?
I have one Ibanez acoustic electric.
Gotcha. But you're pretty much always jamming on electric, right? Or do you pull the acoustic out?
Most of the time, I have one student that plays acoustic, and I'll get the acoustic out to match what she's using. But that's,
Yeah, that's about the extent of it.
Yeah, and a good friend of mine from middle school, she got married a year and a half, 2 years ago, and she had me come out to the wedding and just played instrumental acoustic stuff at the wedding.
That was probably fun.
Yeah, it was. And I learned Careless Whisper for that one. That was a fun one to kind of funk out and jam to.
Hell yeah.
She's like, I want you to learn these 5 songs, and you, as long as they're tasteful, do whatever you want with them. I was like,
just
okay.
add your own thing to them.
Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know why I've gravitated towards the acoustic more. I think it's because I do when I'm kind of playing by myself and on my own, I do gravitate more towards like a singer-songwriter, more so of me playing and like trying to like put song ideas together.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I'm trying to find a way to incorporate the electric into the channel more, because I would love to, be able to rip solos like you do. But I've been spending so much time, especially in the past 2 years, just with the YouTube channel, just learning all the acoustic songs that people are requesting, that it's just, it's hard to find time to do all that and practice on my own with the acoustic, and then also break out the electric every now and then. But and ukulele stuff, like I've found this company today that I've been talking to, that I'm gonna try and see if I can get a ukulele off of them, and maybe do some ukulele stuff for the channel too.
Cool.
Change it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There was something else I wanted to ask you.
I will say about the guitars, amps, and all that stuff. You have some players out there that are gear hounds that spend all their money on just acquiring as much as they can get their hands on, buying all this top-notch equipment. But where they fall short is they don't invest in themselves. So they're still a put your fingers here type player. They probably develop their ear over time, which is really a good thing, but they don't invest in themselves and get educated on their instrument like they really should. They spend all their money on, buying the next greatest and latest thing, and I just don't think like that.
And they're thinking that maybe that is going to compensate more for the lack of time that they're, instead of sitting down and, investing more of that time into themselves, they're thinking maybe the better piece of gear will take their playing to the next level, as opposed to them taking themselves to that level, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Is that kind of what you think it is there?
Yeah, I would rather have grade A knowledge than grade A equipment.
100%. Yeah. And I think that's, going back to what I said earlier, I think that's why I don't do that, is because I'm the opposite. I'm like, I need to be good enough to warrant, having that $2,000 guitar or $2,500 amp, I need to make sure that I'm good enough for that before I go spending all the money on it. You need to work for it almost, like you got to earn it.
Yeah. I follow you.
Yep. Oh, I know we were talking about it before, but tell me more about the way that you do your lessons, and just like, you can go ahead and like plug however people can get in touch with you for them too. Cause if you're cool, I'm going to post this on the channel, and just kind of like as the first of the podcast or whatever. But if you want to plug that, and then just kind of give a little, however you go about doing your lessons, and just your whole technique with that.
Okay. I teach on lessonface.com. You can reach my page. It's lessonface.com/Brad Ward, just BRADWARD. It's a great site. It's a site for educators teaching music, or some educators teach people languages on there, that kind of thing.
Is it free to sign up for it?
Well, you could become a member of it and look around for free, but the lessons, other than like a 15-minute trial lesson, the lessons do cost.
But just to like become a member, there's no like startup cost or anything. It's just you pay for whatever lessons that you're wanting to get. Is that pretty much how? Gotcha. Yeah,
you pay like on per lesson basis. Or you can buy a pack of lessons if the instructor offers I offer a buy 5, get the 6th lesson free kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
But as far as teaching my students, I just find out where they are in playing, whether they're a beginner or a more advanced player, and figured out what it is that they feel like they need to be learning. And then we just start going down that path. It can be something, they want to learn some songs, or they want to work on technique, or, learn more chords. It just, whatever it calls for is what we work on. It's not about me. It's about them and helping them get better.
Gotcha. And you can handle anybody from the 100% beginner, just picked up the guitar, to, I mean, anybody who's near your skill level or beyond, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. And when they get to like my skill level, it's just going to depend on what else it is they want to learn, if I can help them with that, or if it's like maybe they can blaze up and down the fretboard 10 times faster than I can, but they don't have any idea what they're doing theoretically on the instrument. So if you put them in a situation where, like, you know, here, go jam with these guys that play a 12-bar blues in G, and, you know, well,
they're like,
what does that mean?
What is that?
You're in the headlights, but they can, you know, climb up the neck and scream up and down it, but they don't really know what's going on.
Right. And you said you do 30-minute, you don't do hour longs, do you?
Not generally, unless it's something that would be, you know, that's going to take an hour to cover. Most of the time you can get a really good foundation, what it is you need to work on, within a half hour. And
typically what, one time a week, 2 times if somebody wants to, but typically 1 time a week is
once
enough.
A week. You know, if they wanted to go for it and do twice a week, if they were really driven and really hitting the material after the lesson, because kind of what you experience with younger players is, you know, like we were talking about earlier, is you play it a little bit and then you put it down, that kind of thing. A lot of younger players, their practice time is the lesson time. And until that fire lights up inside them, they're just going to do the lesson, and then they may not touch it again the entire week until they come back to the lesson.
Right.
But then eventually that light goes on and they just, you know, something clicks in them. It could be anything. And then they start working on their own after the lesson, and that's when the real progress starts taking place.
Well, you could probably argue that the work in between is more important than the lesson itself. It's like, if you're not going to put in the work on the days in between the lessons, then it's almost, I mean, anything is better than nothing, but you're almost wasting your time at that point if you're not going to continue to work on it outside of the lesson, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you're a beginner and you take the lesson, and then if you spend 10 or 15 minutes a day, 3 or 4 days a week in between those 2 lessons, you're going to advance. I mean, you're not going to like go crazy, but you'll start to see progress.
Absolutely. And yeah, that's what I tell, because I get a lot of people asking me, like, you know, where do I start, or I'm having trouble with this, or what's the best thing to practice. And that's what I tell them is because I don't know enough to be able to like direct somebody, and like same with what you're saying. It's like you got to kind of know where their skill level is already. But the main thing I tell them is you just need to do it. You know, you just need to pick up the guitar. It doesn't matter whether it's 5 minutes, an hour, 6 hours a day. If you're doing a little bit every single day, especially as a beginner, you're going to be, I mean, in a month, you're going to be light years ahead of where you would have been if you didn't play at all. You know, so it's even if you're just picking it up, guessing, just playing single notes on each string, or, you know, just anything is better than nothing at that point. That's like the best knowledge that I can really give, you know, all the beginners that ask me that same question, you know?
Yep.
Was there anything else? I feel like I had another question for you. I might be all tapped out. It's been a long day. We bought a new bed, and I spent like a couple hours putting this new bed frame together, and we bought like this box spring that's not like a box spring. It's got the wooden like rails on it.
Oh, okay.
But it's still like a box spring somehow, and so I'm like, I'm out of it.
I heard that.
One more time, where can people go to like sign up for lessons for you?
It's lessonface.com/Brad Ward.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, is there anything else that you want to say, touch on? Anything else that you got on your mind?
Oh, man, I believe that pretty much covers it.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting this rolling.
Absolutely. Well, we'll talk. Do you have any social media that you do, or anything like that you want to shout out for yourself, or anything like that? I don't know if you.
Well, I'm working on, I opened the YouTube channel. I haven't put any videos up yet, but this is definitely motivating me to move in that direction.
Hell yeah.
That YouTube channel is called My So-Called Guitar Life.
That's a dope name.
Thanks, man.
I like that. And yeah, I'll put all that stuff in the description of this video. I'll put like a link to, the lessons and the link to your channel and everything. And if there's anything you want to like cut from this or whatever to upload on your channel, you just let me know and I'll send it over to you.
Cool.
And we'll get sometime next week and chat again.
Yeah. You just let me know when and we'll work it out.
All right, my dude. Well, I appreciate you. I'm going to get off of here and I'll hit you up and we'll do this again sometime next week.
Sweet. Sounds good.
All right, my guy. Stay safe, brother.
All right, man. You too.
Later, man.
Later.